Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I decided that I'm going to start sharing some of my teachings on YouTube that I do weekly in my online coven. It's a private community for women only where we gather 3 times a week live, and I generally teach classes, I do readings, I guide and coach the women that are in there. And sometimes we just have some really good lessons, and I really want to be able to share them publicly. So I'm going to start posting some of those here, and I really hope that you enjoy them. So the video that you were about to watch was recorded live, so I do have some Q&A going on throughout the video and at the end, but it is a lesson on Saturn. Many times, and I'm going to keep the intro short, but everybody kind of has a fear of Saturn. It doesn't matter what astrological tradition you follow. And we get this idea that he is really into hard work and hard labor and will really just like grind your gears and apply the pressure in order to get you to do something. And a lot of people, when they're going through his initiations, tend to get very taxed out and drained. And it's always like they're hitting brick walls all the time. But if you understand a better perception of this planet and the spirit attached to this planet and what it's actually doing, you will be able to shift the perception of what's going on in your life, and you will be unstoppable. You will be able to finally manifest into tangible reality what it is you're wanting, your dream into reality, what it is you're wanting to manifest. So I really hope that this teaching can be a blessing to you. It is a long one. I think it's about an hour, even after I did edits. So I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you again for joining. All right, so Saturn. So those of you that take the alchemy class, you guys know a decent amount of about Saturn, depending on how deep you are in that course. And so he rules over time, karma, and form, okay? So he is the bones in your body. He's structure, okay? And he wants to make sure that your bones aren't brittle, okay? He wants you to have a solid structure to host the skin, to host the blood, to host what makes up your body. But you have to have a good structure, okay? This interprets in our daily life. So I want you to remember time, karma, and form, because I'm going to be restating this in different ways throughout this entire teaching, because this is, as I was meditating, these are the same things that kept coming through, because he rules over time. Okay. Time is a very human thing. It's a very 3D matrix thing that we exist in, right? Even animals, you can say, live outside of time. While they still are born and die, so they have time, it's not as structured as we have it. And so Saturn rules over this time, and this is something for us. And so the whole thing, and Goddess Kali, she rules over time as the feminine. Time is to be looked at as something sacred, and we absolutely do not do that in the West. The main thing you hear all the time is how you're wasting your time, or how there's not enough hours in the day. It's always something negative associated to time. We don't even like aging. Okay, we don't even like aging. I really love that Dumavati, they keep her as the old crone with the wrinkles, and they don't try to like beautify her in some youthful way, as many of the goddesses can be depicted, because like that is a form of matriarchy. Like, we are supposed to age, and people don't like that. Like, look at it's insane how even in the last 5 years this has just been such an uprise in injections and all that to try to hold on to youth and to stay young. But even Saturn is like that, it doesn't fit the structure. But I'm not going to get off into beauty things right now. So he is the great initiator. Okay, so every life initiation that you go through is going to be initiated by Saturn, because he is trying to mature you. He is trying to mature you in body, soul, and spirit. He will come in and initiate you into better health routines. He will come in and initiate you into better spiritual routines. He will come and initiate you into better financial routines. Everything is done so that structure, always go back to your bones. He rules your bones. He wants a solid structure in all of those things, so all of it can be healthy. So in alchemy, in the course, for those of you that are in it, you hear me talk about the vessels a lot, right? And you see a lot of that in the alchemical artwork. Your body is the vessel, right? And anything that you create, if you think of it like a vessel, When pressure builds in the vessel, or you're pouring water, picture it like a vase, right? You're pouring water. If there's cracks in there, it's going to come out, right? Shani, or Saturn's job, is to show you where there's cracks. So he will pour the water into a vessel that you have and over pour into it to see how much it can hold. And he will show you the cracks that are in the vessel that you're building. It is up to you, though, to see that they are cracks, not ignore it or to keep putting tape on it. It's up to you to see how your structure, like he applies pressure so that you can see it's a faulty foundation. Okay. He wants to show you where you're bleeding out. Okay. He wants to show you where you're holding too much. All the things that I have you guys do, all the exercises and dreaming big. What is it that you want in your life? What do you want to manifest? All of these different things that I'm constantly asking you guys to do, right? What structure do you need to hold that? Because you have to build the structure first. You can't have Saturn pour out, because he is a great gift giver. And when he gives, it's not like Jupiter. Everybody loves Jupiter. Jupiter. Oh, he's abundant and blessed. Great. He'll drop you a sack of cash. And then what happens when the sack is gone? That's how Jupiter works, like Santa Claus. Here's your presents on Christmas morning. What happens the next day? The presents don't keep coming. Saturn wants to give you something so structured that over time, it outlasts time. It keeps giving to you over time so that you maintain and hold this over time. He doesn't want just one outpouring one day. He wants it for the long term. So he will constantly apply this pressure to see if your vessel can hold the dream that you're asking for. He wants to give you the dream, but he's saying, go ahead and build me a temple so I can put it in there. Okay, does that make sense so far? So the main things that Saturn will show you is strategy, boundaries, discipline, and the arrangement of your priorities. Okay. So is your strategy working? And again, Saturn applies pressure. Okay. So if you're building a foundation and it's, not, it's like, it's not welded right, or it doesn't make sense where like the poles are to keep it balanced, the support beams. If the strategy of the foundation, I mean, some people don't even have one. They just, I'm gonna post every day on TikTok. That's my strategy. That's not a strategy. That's just throwing shit to the wind and going. A strategy is a whole entire operation, right? So what is the actual strategy? So he's going to keep applying pressure to test, to see, I'm pouring in the cement. Is the structure that you built, can it actually withstand and hold up this concrete? When the concrete hardens, is it all uneven? Is it going to break through? Is the water going to leak through when I pour the water in? He will test your boundaries by showing you where you have none. And this could be on so many different levels. It could be by friends crossing boundaries and you do nothing about it. It could be your boss at work, him constantly telling you to do something after hours, but that's your time where you dedicate to yourself. It could be self-care. It doesn't have to be about your own business. It could be anything. Do you not have boundaries? So for me, this has been coming up a lot, is like the boundaries and structure I have with my children, right? So the pressure gets applied through, because that's the topic that's coming up, pressure will be applied through my children to show me where I have weak boundaries, where I have weak structure. so that I can do something about it. And the pressure will build more and more and more until I realize it's my fucking issue. It's not because, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, my kid's this, my kid's that. It's my own fucking problem. There's something that I am not structuring properly. Do you have the discipline to stick with something? So this isn't just about grinding it out. Saturn kind of gets a bad rap because it's like, oh, Saturn likes hard work. And yeah, he does, but he doesn't like you pouring from an empty cup, and he doesn't like you self-abandoning. That is not a Saturnian principle. Saturn wants you fulfilled how you view fulfillment. And so do you have the discipline to stick to something that allows you to self-fulfill? If you say that, okay, so if you say, I'm not going to use, I was going to say with the gym, but I'm not gonna, because that'll get into more, like for me, that's like a relaxation for me, but it's not for most people. So we'll leave that to like a healthcare routine. So say, okay, so my meditation and spiritual practices in the morning. So do I have the structure, routine, and discipline to keep my 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. bracket about my spiritual practice? If that's what I want, I need that 2 hours. Okay. So this involves me meditating. This involves my mala jop that I do with my specific spirits. And this involves me reading my scriptures. Okay. So my first 2 hours are that. Do I have discipline to do that? Do I have the structures in place to do that? That's me pouring into my spirit. If I say I am not doing anything for work after 5 p.m. and it's going to be about me in my silky pajamas dancing around the kitchen, do I have the structure and discipline to always do my self-care? And not in a way that you're like a taskmaster, like, oh no, I can't go out with my friend, or like something. But it's like, if you're saying, I'm not going to think about work after this time at night, and that also means not going on social media and posting and doing this, and that after a certain time, because after that I start to feel depleted. Do you hold yourself to that, or do you beat yourself up and feel guilty? Because a lot of us, especially as women, we have a problem with resting. We talk about it in here all the time. When we sit and rest, we feel like, well, this means I'm not doing something, or something is undone and I need to get my ass up and I need to clean, I need to do something, run my business, do this for the kids. We're constantly in the state of fight or flight and in survival mode, and we beat ourselves up about resting. So when you are in that, Saturn will make it even worse. Saturn will make it even worse. He'll make that go off in your head even more until you realize it's your own thoughts doing that. It's not Saturn telling you to get up off your lazy ass. He's saying, don't you need to pour into yourself? Why do you have such loosey-goosey boundaries that you're still fucking doing all this? Why do you have no self-discipline? We think of self-discipline like it's make ourselves get up and do something and go, go, go. No, discipline is also resting and being like, no, I'm resting right now. I'm not doing that. But we tend to operate in fear. If I don't, something bad's going to happen. Something will be taken away from me. I'm not going to make the payment. I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm not, whatever it is. And that's actually not a long-term structure that you can withstand. If you're trying to expand and grow, how are you going to keep that kind of mindset and expand and grow from a place of depletion? So whatever you're dreaming up and asking for absolutely cannot land in that current temple that you're building. It is so faulty, because any more expansion would break you. So enjoy where you're at, because you're not going any further. It doesn't matter how much harder you're fooling yourself into thinking, well, if I do more and do more and do more, I'm going to receive more, receive more, and receive more. And that's actually not true, because that's not even how Saturn works. Because you're asking for a specific type of life and lifestyle. You can't do that. I can't push a car on no gas. I can't drive anywhere on no gas. I have to put gas in my car. Saturn isn't going to be like, well, here's a bigger truck, but no gas, and now you have to push that truck uphill to your destination. He's going to be like, learn how to put some gas in your fucking car and how to drive it properly, and then we'll upgrade your car. I don't even think you know how to drive a car right now because you don't even know how to put gas in it. So how can I bless you with a better car? You're not even driving. Maybe I'll take the car away because you clearly don't know how to put gas in it. Oh my God, that's so funny. I literally wrote right here about cars and gas, and it popped in my head at the exact time. It's like I'm reading my notes without looking down. I love it. I feel like I have learned this a lot from you and in my life, and it makes me rest more honestly. Good. But Chris, the next time you are in the bath and you message me, I'm going to text Mike and be like, take this bitch's phone, make her close her eyes. You guys, I will hear the bath. I'll be like, Chris, stop. You message me after. You rest. Okay. All right. Yeah. So pressure is going to be applied to show you where your areas of your life are weak or unsustainable. And generally it will show through as like scarcity mindsets, or where you have scarcity in your life, where you are overextended, where you have the sense of urgency all the time, and where you don't really feel like you have solid ground on something. He will show up to show you that just as much as he will show up in like the normal Saturnian topics of like, do you have good money management? Do you have a plan of how you want to get from point A to point B? So he, again, likes structure. He likes things that can be in it for the long haul. He wants you to be in it for the long haul. How can you be in it for the long haul if you have no boundaries? If you are not pouring into yourself? Especially here in the West, the whole thing is work yourself to death, and overexertion equals success. Now, there is a difference between not giving up on your dream and to keep going and going towards that, and nonstop working every single day, thinking the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. It's very, very different. Your actions when you are building this temple should come from what it is you're wanting, not from fear of losing. I must nail these boards in the side of the house today, because if I don't, I'm going to lose, meaning the temple. We do tend to operate we operate in a fear-based society. So it's always like, so that fear of even resting, fear of rest, stems from a place of fear of losing if I stop, fear of something being taken away if I stop. And it's not an aligned movement. An aligned movement is going to be like, I'm building my life this way because this is what I'm wanting. I think I already mentioned this, but I wrote it here, so I'm going to say it again. So Saturn will emphasize your thoughts so you can hear them, and then so you can change them. So that inner judge that all of us have, where we're like beating ourselves up about things, that will get louder and louder and louder, or like sometimes it'll manifest as like you'll double down on what you're doing even though it's not working. and just kind of cry out into the void that you need change. But like, you have to change this or nothing else changes. You have to change your mind. That's the only thing you can change. Nothing around you can really change until you change this and you operate from here. You can't operate from your logical mind, especially as a woman. And we do that. You have to have balance. What you're trying to build, the temple that you're trying to build, has to come from here. It has to come from the heart center, because the life that you're wanting has a divinity to it. It has a certain flow that you're looking for, and there's a passion in it of you wanting that. So the vision comes from here, and then you invite this in, the logic, to give you the structure to make it happen, to build it properly. But the energy you're filling the temple with comes from the heart. The structure that is building around it is coming from here. So you can't build a proper structure unless your mindset is thinking right. Because if you're like, the beams of the temple are all crooked, and then you won't even be able to build a second floor, and it's, nothing's in proper, there's cracks, that structure won't withstand, and you're not building something that this heart space can actually pour into. So you do have to do the basics. You have to learn money budgeting. You have to learn how business even works. Learn some stuff about marketing, like normal shit. But then you also have to get rigid about your own, how you structure your day. And rigid doesn't mean beat yourself up, okay? It means like, where does my mindset need to, be very aware of your thought. All of you can ask Shani to do this for you. I'm just going to warn you, though, it's going to get nasty. And I'm warning you it's going to get nasty because it's your own mind. It's your own fucking thoughts. Okay. It's your own thoughts. But he will crank the volume up on that shit until you realize you're the issue. You're only ever the issue. Shani wants to give it to you. Saturn wants to give it to you. You want to give it to you. But he's not going to give you. There's the only thing worse than not achieving the goal is getting the goal and losing it, because you can't contain it. So you have to build the structure now. Always think of it like that. You have to build the vessel now for the water to be poured into. How can you structure your life or restructure your life through boundaries, right? And time and all of that, in order so that it is firm. I thought of an example when I was driving Zai around, and this is just like a little mini example, right? So I was thinking about, like, I always look at the different cars. Y'all know about my little, my hot pink G-Wagon that I want one day. I'll probably end up getting it matte black one day. And then what'll happen? If I ever had that kind of money, I probably wouldn't even end up with one of those cars. I'd get something I could go off-roading in. But we're just going to say for the sake of it. But I was thinking, I always catch myself saying, I can't have a nice car until my kids are older. And I always catch myself saying that. And I was thinking in the car as I was driving around Zion, and I was like, that's actually not true. I say that to give myself an excuse to be lazy about my vehicle, because I'm too lazy to put up boundaries with my children on what goes on in the vehicle. And I'm too lazy to put up boundaries around, or to put structure around how often I clean my car. And so I cleaned my car a week ago, and I said when I cleaned my car this time, I'm like, it will not return to the state that it gets put in. It's just not happening. because this is me. It has nothing to do with my kids. My kids aren't in charge. I'm the adult. And so every single day, things get wiped down. I clean up. If when Zion likes to have snacks in his little cup on the way home from the gym, I put a little bit, three or four crackers. When he's done with those, I put 3 or 4 more, so there's no spilling. Whatever he, does spill or throws on the floor because he doesn't want it anymore, when I stop that car, it gets picked up, it gets put in my bag and brought into the house, or it gets thrown into the woods for the birds to eat. Whatever, when Malachi, he has this thing about taking his socks off in the car, I make sure I look, Malachi, did you grab your socks? Grab your socks. Turn around and go back and get them. If you didn't get your socks, you're not leaving them in the car. Because every time I pull a whole hamper of socks out from underneath my thing. But they're children. They're children. That's on me. I don't have to wait until a future date to have a clean vehicle. I just need to have better structure and boundary. And then whenever I can, I will buy a new vehicle. My vehicle's nice now. I have a nice car. I'm very blessed. I'm going to treat it that way. Another thing I was thinking about was, so what, I'll get personal again for a second. So when you think about your dream life, it ain't working 12 hours a day. I guarantee you not one of you, when you do the manifestation things, right on there, I want a nice long 12-hour work day. And so mine's like, I want to work maybe like 4 hours a day. And so when I was like going through this weekend and I'm like, having my daddy Saturn time, and I'm like rewriting my schedule and how I want to go into this next time period, this next chapter with this full moon and stuff, I'm realizing I only work about 4 hours a day. But it's very scattered, and Zion's always ripping through shit, and it's like pieces, so nothing really seems very organized, and it makes my mind scattered, and because I'm not sure what I've done, and nothing is actually moving with any type of stability. Again, this falls back on me. I'm trying to create structure, yes, but I realized one of my biggest blocks in my head was I don't have enough time and I'm not working enough. I need to be doing more if I'm going to get anywhere. How does that align with my want for a 4-hour workday? When I literally have that and I'm saying that that's not enough time to receive enough money to do anything, I'm canceling it out. I myself don't believe in my own manifestation, simply because of a lack mindset that I have, and a mindset that I have that I need to be overworked all the fucking time. So I had to cancel that. I was like, oh, look at that. I already have one. I just got to restructure it so it makes more fucking sense. And I was halfway there. I had to lose the mentality of beating myself up. And then last night I went through I emptied all the toys in a pile in the middle of the living room, threw half of them away, made everything in nice organized boxes so Zion knows where they are. I went to the dollar store, let him pick out some stuff. He wanted Play-Doh and stuff like that. Organize it all so that he can see what's in his basket, what he can reach with. My morning thing, 5 a.m. wake up. I do an hour and a half of study and meditation to feed my spirit without guilt, because I even used to guilt myself about that when that's even a requirement. It's a literal requirement for my path. But I'm in such survival mode because of what's gone on in the last 2 years in my life. I have to retrain my brain to get out of it. I have to retrain my body to get out of survival mode. Like, I have to. Everything around me is dependent on me getting out of it. Like, it's time to get out of it now. And so I was fully, there's no phone, I'm fully enmeshed in my scriptures. I am fully enmeshed in my prayer and meditation. And then I worked. I made some content and stuff to post later today. And by the time I was done with that, Zion woke up. Perfect. 2 hours, breakfast and cleanup, went to the gym, fully embodied in the gym, not trying to work on my phone and make posts and in the notes app. No, my phone was in my fucking backpack. I listened to music. I banged out a good glute workout. Great. Went home, lunch, took Zion to the park where there's Wi-Fi. He ran around in the sprinklers. I did more work stuff that I needed to do. So like I now have my 4-hour workday planned. My mindset is no longer from one of striving, because I know that as a single mother with no help, that I can't keep pouring for an empty cup. I'm going to fucking die. Y'all have heard me multiple times on here say how many times I thought I had to go to the fucking hospital. I'm not doing it anymore. And I truly believe that the gods will meet me where I'm at when I believe that it can truly be met. My choice is to be a single mom. That's my choice. I don't want to play house with somebody. I don't want to get married. I don't want to do any of that. For the unforeseen amount of time, I want to be a successful single mother. I want to raise my boys. I want to focus on them and what fulfills me in my business. So that means I have no choice but to learn how to have better boundaries, better discipline, to rest. That I have to have discipline to rest and to allow myself to fully embody rest without this thing going on in my head of guilt tripping. Otherwise, I won't survive it. You can have whatever the fuck you want in this life. You just have to truly believe that you can have it. And then you have to make the bones. You have to create the structure that will actually allow you to receive that. Oh, little Evie, so precious. Oh, I got more. All right. Oh, I already said that. Okay, good. What does this mean, Marisa? I wrote wealth is a state of structure. No, yeah, it is. Wealth is a state of structure. You know, when you drive through I just got a flash of my old hometown. Is Melissa on here? You know how like half of Syracuse is like boarded up and dilapidated now? That's not wealth. I have been operating as a boarded up, dilapidated building, asking the gods to pour wealth into that. If I want to expand in my business and I want to be doing lectures on stage one day, I want my podcast to be big, I want this, I want that, all these things that I dream up, how the fuck is that going to get poured into something with boarded up windows and crickety walls? And when it rains, it gets wet inside. Do you think the gods are going to pour that into me when they're like, you don't even have a sufficient container to hold it? If any more work got poured onto me in the old structure, I would die. So to try to save my life, the gods really cranked up my anxiety and depression to let me know that I'm the creator of it. And why everything in my reality is keeping me there because of the lack of structure and boundary. So after I went through all of that and restructured and redid, I mean, today was day one of implementing because it took me the whole fucking weekend of meditating and really listening, writing down all my fucking thoughts that were just, oh God, I just really surprised myself with the way I think. Just be careful if you ask for this. Because all I know is that on Saturday, I couldn't do a goddamn thing without that inner judge brain going off. And I'm like I'm like writing it in my fucking phone notes, every thought that I wanted to go to lunch with Zai and I had to take him to get clothes and like a money thing started coming up and I'm just writing it all out. I'm like, okay, these are the exact fucking thoughts that I'm having. And then I'm like meditating on them and filtering it through it and holding that energy up against Shani and Dumavati. And they're all like, no, that is not our energy at all. Like that's yours. Like whatever inner shit you have going on, you're bringing that. That's like a wound. That's trauma. That's not us. And so I'm having to like rework what I even thought and learned about like Saturnian the Saturnian nature of things. Like, but it was great, obviously, because now I get to detox this belief system. And this is what discomfort is. Think of discomfort as a detox. Have y'all ever detoxed off something before? I'm sorry. I just always go back to this shit. Probably not. Detox is not fun. It's painful as shit. That shit's leaving your body. It fucking hurts. It makes you sick and it's nasty. And your brain does all kinds of stupid shit. It's just awful. Detox is awful. But it's for the better, right? So think of it like a spiritual detox. It's getting amped up so you become so uncomfortable. You're essentially in mental pain. Like, you're in pain because of it, to get you to fucking change so that you stop. Even the times where I've been to those points, like, I am so exhausted. So, like, I can't even move up off the couch. I'm just so tired. That is not a way to live. Oh, but I want more. I want more business. I want more. How? One little thing. If I get a cold, I'm laid out. I'm sick. I can't do shit. How is that functional? That's terrible. So all these things have to come up. And so if it's not just thought, it'll be situations where you feel so overstressed and overworked and over this and over that. So, and I'm saying that because that's the only example of how it's been happening for me over this past year. But it's like all of those things happening to show you, like, and I've been asking myself the whole last year, where am I the issue here? Where am I the issue here? But, like, it takes a while before you can break your own thoughts. It does. And my whole thing is, like, how can I fucking structure a day to make sense for this when nothing is predictable? Some days Zion won't sleep, but, like, there just has to be systems set up, because I also don't, like, I'm single. Like, that's it. Like, so, yeah. I think I have a hard time with structure and obsessing. I'm still working on being fluid. How do we ask for this? What's the meditation? Just ask. Just if you want to ask from Saturn, especially because you did the alchemy course, absolutely. Draw on a piece of paper. If you have a black candle, so we can get a little bit into it. If you want to be Western traditional, you can just draw a little glyph with Saturn on it. You can get a black candle if you want. Just light the candle to him, talk to him, ask him to show you where your structure is weak or things that you don't. Actually, Kavina, you got me for a month in the shadow work program. I would do it now, because most likely so much shit will come up, so that, you know what I mean, at least you'll have me. So yeah, you can do it on a black candle. You can just do it on a piece of paper and ask, just kind of go into meditation and try to connect this, like, picture the glyph and make the connection. And yeah, just ask, show where your structure, your foundation is weak, where the bones are weak. If you want to go Eastern and actually do Shani Dev, you can offer up mustard oil and black mustard seed as an offering. You could do a mustard oil lamp. Lead shavings are for both traditions as well. Oh my God, how much notes did I take? This is going to be a 10-hour class. No, I probably said most of it. Let me skim through. Okay, this is good. All right, so I have written out here, so here are the main things for Saturn. Devotion. So if you want to jot something down, devotion. This requires structure, integrity. This is truth. Saturn likes truth. Jupiter likes truth, but Saturn likes justice, truth, and mastery. Because Saturn teaches you how to master self, right? All of you guys in the alchemy course. It's about self-mastery. He is the great initiator into your awakening. He wants you to master self. through structure. Integrity, that means of self. A lot of us treat everybody else a lot better than we treat ourselves as women. We're taught to do that in our society, because our society does not honor women in any way. We are taught that everything is more important than us and our needs, and we are glorified when we self-abandon. That doesn't work. As much as they want to attribute the patriarchy to Saturn, that's bullshit. Because Saturn will not have you self-abandon. So that's devotion. Discipline, not as a slave master. He's not there whipping you when you are not doing some task you have on your list. You are doing that to yourself. You're punishing your own self. Discipline is what helps you contain your power, right? So like for me, I have to have a meditation practice in order to contain the power that I have, or all hell breaks loose. I have to do that until the day I am dead, or all kinds of shit can happen. Things will happen in my reality. Things can happen to my health. Things can happen to me mentally. Like, that is it until I'm dead. It comes with, you better be disciplined if you're doing something like this. But even within, okay, if you want to be healthy, do you have the discipline to stop eating potato chips and ice cream every night? Do you have the discipline to go to the gym every day, or 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is? Do you have the discipline to not be on your phone when you're supposed to be resting? Because doom scrolling isn't resting, it's overstimulating you more. Can you sit and watch a movie without scrolling? When you're playing with your kids, can you be fully involved in focusing on the kids, not all the 10,000 things you have to do? A lot of this is just a mental game. All of it is. Meditation itself is a spiritual discipline, because you have to discipline your mind into not wandering all the time. The more you meditate, the less your mind will wander, because this is where you gain control over your mind wandering. So you will have an easier time staying at task and doing things. Boundaries, number 3, boundaries. So it's in different ways. Saturn will help you realize where you have put up walls. You guys hear me say this all the time, and how they have now become your prison. So where you have boundaries way too high, and now you are imprisoned. And where you don't have any boundaries at all. How is energy moving in your life? Where are you focusing it? Where are you pushing it? What are you giving energy that doesn't deserve energy? Look at your energy like it's fucking gold. I tell everybody all the time, pretend you have an energetic bank account and you only have so much to spend every day. What are you going to spend it on? Some fucking person online that you don't even know, that's like, I don't know, some enemy that you have that like doesn't like you and is talking shit? Why are you even giving somebody of that caliber your sacred gold energy? No. They're outside your temple. Only fuel what is in your temple. Start looking at yourself like a temple. Everything that you are structuring in your life is a sacred, holy temple. What are you allowing in and out of it? And what are the walls made out of? It is not a dilapidated upstate New York neighborhood that went to shit. I said that for you, Melissa. I know you're laughing, doing a clean right now. It's okay. You don't got to stop and text. We'll talk about it later. And the number 4 is time. Time is sacred. Time is sacred. It needs to be honored and ritualized. If you look at every time again, it's a temple. If you are looking at time as something to be honored because it is sacred, you are going to treat it that way. And when you are saying, every night by 7 p.m., I am in my fluffy bunny slippers and my nice silk robe and I'm drinking some tea and that's my favorite thing, and I eat a brownie, a protein brownie. If that's your favorite thing at 7 p.m., that time is holy and sacred and should be ritualized. Not, yeah, I do put the bunny slippers on, but then like while I'm eating my brownie, I take care of business shit and I respond to XYZ and I doom scroll on social media. No. Look at time as sacred. Time is energy. What else do I got here? Okay, so he applies the pressure to see if what you're building can withstand, right? He's the divine tester. So essentially you're bringing Saturn your structure. Like when you're asking this, you're bringing him your structure and you're like, hey, Daddy Saturn, will this hold under pressure? He's going to start applying pressure to it to see where it breaks. And this is what you have to be psychologically aware of. You have to be aware of this. Where is it breaking so that you can fix that? Saturn's a stonemason. I mentioned this because so all in the alchemy course, we go over this, right? About stonemasonry. So that makes him a sacred architect. He is the temple builder. And it's made of stone. He's a stonemason. That shit lasts. It ain't made out of fucking plywood and insulation from China. It is not. He's a stonemason. And that's how he wants to build you. He wants you to take on his attributes so that you have a temple made of stone and that will last and last and last and last. So he will intensify. So I'm just I've said all of this. I'm just like, I wrote it out in a different way. So maybe for some of you, it'll hit differently. He intensifies your chaos to get you to restructure so that you're in it for the long haul. Because Saturn don't like chaos. So what does he do? He intensifies it. I know it doesn't make sense at first, but it does, because that's how you notice shit. Like, you have chaos in your life, I'm going to intensify that chaos until you realize why it's there. It's not about how much you are doing, but the intention you're putting into what you're doing. And this goes back to treating time as sacred. Because when you are intentional about your rest, and when you're intentional about your health, and you're intentional about your work, and you're pouring into yourself intentionally, that builds the life that you're looking for. It holds a certain type of energy that allows a certain type of energy to attract, right? Because, so I'll use myself again as an example, being in such an extreme fight or flight for so long, and I'm very noticed. I'm like, how are the same things coming up? Like the incident last weekend, right? It's like, how is this coming up again a year later? The same exact fucking thing down in my goddamn tire. Like, how? What am I not seeing here? What am I not doing? That's why I asked to intensify, and why I asked. I'm like, I need the fucking clarity. There's something I'm not fucking getting. Like, I keep saying I'm doing everything I can. I don't have enough time. And the amount of times I said time, I was like, oh, this is a Saturn thing. This makes sense. Why do Mavati's here? So, I prayed about it. And that's when all this stuff started popping off. Saturday was ruthless, man. But that's when I started realizing true Saturnian principles that needed to be applied to my life. Because going, work, and then having anxiety about that work doesn't prove anything. It's unintentional. It's not done with, again, he's not a slave master. He teaches you how to build a temple slow, solid, and stable that will last over time. So no self-abandonment. You don't want an abandoned temple. You want it filled, right? Everybody wants their temple filled. So You can't be checked out. No one's going to come in. Okay, so then I think I just had these questions here that I wrote out for you guys to kind of ask yourself, maybe over the next few days. So the way Saturn likes to apply pressure is through time delays, kicking up your chaos, highlighting to you scarcity patterns. So it could even be scarcity of time, thinking there's scarcity of time, or scarcity with money. He'll show you he applies pressures to your boundaries to see where you don't have them, to show you where you don't have them. And he'll also use fatigue, exhaustion, and financial lack. And then he'll use all these to show you where the structure is weak. So ask yourself some of these questions throughout the week. Where are you overgiving? So essentially, where are you pouring out a ton of energy where you are self-abandoning? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean, this could be within a relationship dynamic. Are you around people that require you to self-abandon to be around them? That is a boundary issue. That's an energy leak. That is self-abandonment. You always go back to, am I abandoning my own temple? Where are you putting in too much energy with little return? Do you have any area of your life like that? Where are you holding shame or guilt or fear that warps your ability to receive? This is a big one. It's very, very layered in the feminine. For certain, because we are told all the time about proving our worth and proving that we deserve and it's always about self-abandonment to prove worth, always. So that one in and of itself can really be sat with for a while. If you are doing, well, let me finish this. And then where do you feel like you're leaking? Catch yourself throughout the day. What are you saying a lot? Like for that 1 week, I heard myself saying a lot about the vehicle randomly. I kept saying it. So I was like, oh, my unconscious is trying to tell me and put it in my conscious mind about the fucking car. So show me where I'm leaking in that department. What are you truly looking to build? What are you trying to build? What does your temple look like? Start building that now. What type of container do you need to build in order to hold that? So like if you're wanting to make this much money, which requires you to make this much sales, which requires XYZ amount of your time in order to make the product, to get the sales, to do the thing, to teach the class, to do whatever it is you're doing, to pack the box, like whatever. I'm just ratting off what I do, whatever it is that you do. What kind of container do you need to build around that? Does it even make sense? Do you have enough time? What needs to be done? What needs to be implemented now? Because I'm telling you, you have to have the container first for it to be poured into. The gods are not going to fucking pour something into a container it's going to leak out of. That doesn't make any sense. Do it now. Like the whole thing, like, oh, act like you're already wealthy, act like you're already abundant now, and you will be. Right, but that doesn't mean go spend $300 on breakfast when all you made was $300 that week. I know TikTok gets a little carried away. What it means is have the structure in play now so that when it starts pouring in and starts increasing, you have things that you are implementing to contain it along the way so that it will not break under pressure. Let Saturn break you under pressure now to find the breaks so you can fix it up nice, get a nice solid structure, and then have the outpouring come so you don't, because you'll break 10 times harder. If you are given something you're not ready for, you'll break 10 times harder. I use this example all the time because it's a corny one. Everybody who wins the fucking lottery, like 99% of them, end up more broke than they were before. Epic. Because that's a Jupiter blessing. That's a Jupiter blessing. Like when you want to look for good gambling transits, you look at Venus, Jupiter, because it's fleeting. Both of them are fleeting. Like in geomancy, the figures that represent Jupiter and Venus, it's all fleeting happiness. Like they're like, yeah, it's good to see it. It's fortunate to see it, but it's not gonna stay. Saturn blessings last a lifetime. He's not a lottery guy. Let's put in some effort here and build a beautiful stone temple that will never be blown down and just keep pouring into it. Love this talk because mine has been on my mind and you literally brought it up so I know what I have to do. Perfect. I love it. I figure when I get really hit hard with these things that you girls will be experiencing it too. So on some degree. This is all really good stuff for this full moon because this is going to show the energy supports it because this is going to show you truth, right? Truth where there's weakness in your structure. We have a lot of Mercury energy going on. He's messenger of the gods. It's perfect right now. So it's like, where is your structure weak? Where can you not withhold? What is even your dream? Is that even thought out? What can you start doing now to support that, you know? It may be, so like me, right? I had to switch a serious mindset. I'm literally saying my perfect work week is a 4-day a week, 4-hour a day work week. I didn't even realize I was doing it because Malachi usually doesn't have school Fridays. So I was working Monday through Thursday, 4 hours a day, and I was beating myself up about it. I was like, oh shit, I'm already living my dream that I think is wealth and prosperity, but I'm suffering. And it's all because of my brain. And then you know what it got me to do as well? Because I'm like, okay, I want to start being on YouTube more. I want to start I want to do all this. I want to make more video content and video podcasts. Like I'm adamant about that. And I want to be able to make clips. I'm like, so what can I put in place so that I have time? Because I can't with Zai, right? And my 1-hour nap every day that I may or may not get is already taken up with things. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell my dad and see if he can do something about this. So I was like, because in the summer he works less. I was like, hey, since it's summer, do you think over the summer you can commit to 1 day a week taking the boys for me for a few hours so I can start up my YouTube channel again? And he said, absolutely. All right. Here we go. I'm restructuring. I'm asking for what I need and it's being delivered. It's already being supported. I want work to be the least interesting thing about me. See, I want my work to be so interesting. Well, because my work is me. My work is spiritual. My life, I'm just spiritual. There's nothing else. I actually saw someone on Threads be like, if your whole life is about spirituality, you really need to get a life. It's like, how do you separate the two? That's my dharma. I'm here to do this. Eventually I want to be like, yeah, I travel around and teach women how to re-embody themselves and to not be afraid to do so. Oh, what I was going to say, if you're doing the sacral course, ladies, a lot of the shit I mentioned in here is going to come up for certain. that'll start coming up right away, because you're going to see where you're disembodied and self-sacrificing and where you're burnt toast. I came up with that. I used to say that, like, you know, with the toaster, it catches the crumbs and it just gets really burnt because it keeps getting toasted. That's me. And I'm like, I cannot be a burnt piece of toast anymore. I want to be a nice sourdough, like a springy loaf of sourdough covered in grass-fed butter. I will be that. But it's going to take me to be disciplined, structured in order to do that. Not in a harsh way. I think we look at those terms as something harsh, you know, but it's not. It's just going to be like, my no means no. I'm going to be a lot more structured with the children and what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do. And they're on my watch. I'm not on theirs. And it takes discipline to keep that up, because it's easy to fall to the other way, you know. But even the toy thing popped in my head. Went to the Dollar Tree, got the baskets, threw out half the fucking toys. Every basket had, like, his dinos are in one. He picked out Play-Doh. I put that in a thing. He got his basket of Play-Doh this morning, put it on the table, did all his Play-Doh. Do you know when he was done, he put it all away and put it back in the basket and put it back on the shelf? I almost had a heart attack. But my energy dictates this home. I am in control of the energy of this home. It's my home. My kids are going to feed off of my energy, even more so now. So I have to be like this even for them. It's going to start with me. I'm the energy prong here. So even, like, my day has flowed very, very well. And I know it's day one, but even Malachi was really sick. There was things that I felt like needed rerouting, because, okay, I can't come out here and work. He's sick. Okay, I'm going to work at my desk under low light so Zion stays asleep. Like, where there needs to be a reroute, when you have structure and discipline, you can have fluidity. Think about a fluid stream that moves like this. There's rocks in place, and it keeps it moving in that, right? It doesn't mean you have to be a straight fucking line. It curves and bends. You can be like that. Oh, here's a rock I wasn't expecting. Well, I'm going to just go around it. We're going to reroute. But when you have structure and discipline as your base, it's easier to do that. When you are in chaos and then a block comes up, more chaos erupts because you didn't have a solid foundation to begin with. My goal is to get another work from home job that is not so stressful as this one, just for a while. Once my business is going well, I want that to be my full-time job. Yeah, do you want 2 work from home jobs, or you just want a different one? What if what if the answer isn't job hopping? Because before this, you had a work from home job as well, right? So what if you don't job hop? What structures can you put in place now? We're going to go back and forth on Telegram over this. This is shadow work. Because I'm going to tell you, this is a form of self-sabotage. You're going to keep putting it off, and I'll be able to better work on it when I have a different job. So I have to try to find a different job first. And then you'll have that one and something will happen. You'll be like, oh, it wasn't as not stressful as I thought. I need a different one. And then I can work on my business one. Girl, I'm not going to let you do this. We're going to put it in play now. My job is to see this. I pick up patterns like this. I'm a shadow worker. That's what I'm supposed to do. And nobody can have a conversation with me without me hearing, oh, I can hear certain words. And you've been in my programs long enough where I know your patterns. I got them down to a science, girl. I've known you too long. Yeah. Yep. You have a fear of failure. You have a fear of launching and you don't get a sale and then you're let down. But what if you're successful? We'll come up with a plan together. Message me later on Telegram. We can build you a structure this week. All right, ladies. Hour and a half. I think I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. I'll cut off the beginning, and it was a pretty good teaching, I think. All right, I'll be back on Wednesday. If you guys have any questions, message me. You know how to get a hold of me. I love you, ladies.